The Urban League has been around since 1910, and the reason it was founded is to help African Americans make the transition from rural life to urban life.
The issues were discriminatory housing, alley dwellings, inability to get a loan.
There was a biracial, multiracial group focusing on employment, housing, economic disparity, literacy, and violence against African Americans.
The mission is very simple. That's to help African Americans and other minorities to move into the economic and social mainstream.
The Urban League not only has provided opportunity for individuals and families, it has prepared people to take full advantage of those opportunities.
When there is an educated community and when there are individuals who are working and taking care of their families, it is a healthy community.
It would be great if after 100 years, we didn't need urban leagues anymore. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be the way things are going.
We still live in a time where people are struggling across all facets of our community, so our work today is as important as it has ever been.
There are more people in poverty, more uneducated, more people in the criminal justice system, and a large percentage of our people don't have health care. And now we're not only serving African Americans, but all groups, Hispanics and Caucasians who have moved from rural areas into the suburbs and now into the Urban League in the inner cities.
There are still people who are in dire need, people who could use our support. There are people who are still jobless or need job training. There are still young people who need youth development. There are still young people who could benefit from the scholarships that the Urban League offers.
In the immediate short-term future, we've got to help people hang on. But after that point, go into other areas or expand in the areas we're in now, such as home ownership, financial acumen, helping our people do that, educational opportunities, entrepreneurship.
We have to keep pace with the new economy just like everybody else. So where we may have provided typing training back years ago, well, now it should be green jobs and electronic medical billing and healthcare-oriented jobs. So we have to just keep ourselves a step ahead so that we can help the community plug in the mainstream.
Our focus and our mission really has to be, part and parcel of what we've always done, but really there has to be a refocus on the economy and bringing folks to that level of economic wealth, because I really think that's the next frontier of the civil rights movement. We fought really hard to get a seat at the table. Now we have to work extra hard to get what's due us off of the table.
In order for us to be more successful from the things that we've done in the past, we're going to have a deeper dive into the policy and the advocacy debate.
For me, the Urban League is the organization that can offer the hope, the inspiration, and the opportunity to literally empower yourself and change your life.
We focus on what is needed, what is necessary, not as someone giving us a handout, but quite honestly, as our history says, giving us a hand up.
Well, I think that everyone should give back to the community in which they reside. This is my way of giving back to my community through the Urban League, and especially the Urban League Guild.
We see ourselves as ambassadors, reaching out to people, trying to help people in whatever the situation is. It could be a job, it could be a home, it could be a child involved.
If we are to empower our community to be able to progress, we must step up and take on that responsibility.
We are here to serve and not to be served, and I'm glad I'm empowered to do that.
I am empowered.
I am empowered.
I am empowered.
I am empowered.
I'm empowered to be a role model.
I am empowered to make a difference in my community.
I am empowered because I am an African-American female with a purpose.
I have been given a set of gifts and talents that I believe that I can change the world.
I am the next generation of the civil rights movement.
I am empowered.
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 Let's take this message of economic empowerment to millions of people across this nation. I am empowered. Are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Master of Ceremonies, the Vice President of El Mundo newspaper, the largest Latino newspaper in New England, Mr. Alberto Versajo III.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Alberto Versajo, and I want to officially welcome everyone to the 18th Annual National Urban League Awards Gala and, very important, the 100th anniversary of the National Urban League. Now, this is a special anniversary celebration, and we're glad everyone came out, even on a bad hair night, ladies and gentlemen. I want everyone to give themselves a round of applause. And I want to make special notice. I just figured it out. If you heard the song that came out, that's Candy Girl by New Edition. And now I figured it out. Earlier tonight, I came in and I was talking to the DJ, Emerson. And I said, Emerson, we're just talking and movies came up. And I said, yeah, man, I feel a little old. I just saw that movie Hot Tub Time Machine, which if any of you have seen it, it deals with these group of guys, friends, who get into a hot tub and they get transported back to 1986, time machine. And 1 week ago tonight, last week, I went to my 25th high school reunion, class of 85. I know there's some of you out there. And that also took me back to 1985, the 80s. So I said that to the DJ, and he said, so what's your favorite group of the 80s? And I said, New Edition. I love Candy Girl. So, of course, then he came out with Candy Girl. So I want to give Emerson a round of applause for doing that. So I imagine that every time I come up here tonight, if you hear an 80s song, that's the reason why, okay? So I have a feeling he's got a few more up his sleeves. So before we get started, I do want to do something that I know for a fact did not happen 100 years ago when the Urban League started to do these awards. I'm sure the MC did not do the following. Could you all please turn your pagers and your telephones to buzz or to mute, because we want to enjoy the night. So without further ado, I want to start off the evening by introducing, for the invocation, Reverend Gregory Groover of the historic Charles Street AME Church in Roxbury. Please, a round of applause for the Reverend.
Let us pray. You are God of our weary years. You are God of our silent tears. You are the only one who has brought us thus far on the way. You are the one who by your might has led us for 100 years into the light. So tonight, on this 17th day of this 4th month of this your year, 2010, we pray that you keep us forever on your path. It is so marvelous. It is beyond words that we say to you, oh God, how wonderful it is for you to bring us and gather us together again to celebrate another year of achievements and of struggles of this your Urban League. We thank you for all of the triumphs. We thank you for the thousands of ways that this great organization has made a difference in the lives of so many of your people. We thank you that you have used the Urban League as your instrument to, yes, even free the oppressed. And we pray, oh God, that tonight will be the occasion that you will equip Donnell and his scores of co-laborers to continue the work, to rise up to a new level of doing your ministry, of saving children, empowering men and women, building communities, establishing new businesses, We thank you for the work of the Urban League. And so bless this food that we're about to eat, that it will sustain us for the evening, equip us for the journey, and that you will bless and favor us with your presence tonight and in the days to come. And it is in your blessed name that we lift up these petitions and we go forth to do your work. Let all God's people say, amen.
Thank you, Reverend Groover. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2010 Gala Chair, Jerome Smalls, Vice President of TJX Companies, Inc. Jerome, earlier tonight I had the pleasure of meeting Andre and Kathy, and they said, keep it short. I guess they work with you and you notice that's the TJX Companies table that's laughing.
Well, thank you, Alberto. You said that just like I wrote it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My goodness, you look absolutely beautiful. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Well, it's good to be here. I will use, Darnell, the 3B formula to be good, be brief, and of course, be seated. I work for a little retailer that owns some stores called A.J. Wright and Home Goods and Marshalls and T.J. Maxx, where it is totally safe to use your credit card in any of those stores, let me tell you this evening. But I want to say, though, really, on behalf of the TJX companies and over 140,000 associates worldwide, I am honored to be your gala chairman this evening. To Darnell, to Richard Taylor, the board of directors, the staff and volunteers of the Urban League, thank you for all you have done to help in providing some real key things that this Commonwealth need, and that is access to employment for all too many who've been left behind, for promoting volunteerism, for helping to improve the economic condition while simultaneously promoting self-reliance. The Urban League Board and its directors deserve your support and your round of applause, so give it to them. Darnell, I want to say to you that TJX's relationship dates back with the Urban League, both nationally and locally, for over 20 years. And I want you to know that our relationship with you and the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts has no expiration date. That works for you? I want to thank our guests, our supporters, our sponsors, and it's a long list of them that you're going to see and hear a little bit more tonight. As we prepare for the National Urban League Conference that'll be coming to this city, I urge other companies, and if you have friends, ask them to get involved in this effort. It is fundamentally in your best interest and is fundamentally in the best interest of your associates as well. I want to offer special congratulations also to this evening's honorees, to Robert Lewis of the Boston Foundation, to the Right Reverend Ray Hammond of the 10-Point Coalition, to the Target Corporation, and to Harry Miller, who received the Distinguished Molly Moon Award, and to Cleve Killingsworth, who's sitting here in front of me, who will also be recognized later in the evening. Good seeing you again, Cleve. Let's give our honorees a round of applause. And finally, in keeping with being brief and be seated, on behalf of our partners at the Urban League and the good folks at the TJX companies, thank you so much for your support. Enjoy your evening. And if I were to leave you with one little word of wisdom, someone said to me earlier this morning, they said, when you walk with dignity, you'll collide with destiny. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Jerome. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts Board Chairman, Mr. John Harris, who's also the Vice President of Contracts at Raytheon Corporation. Please give him a warm reception tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for the warm introduction. Actually, I so recently was actually promoted to be president of Raytheon Technical Services Company. So I'll just, one of the service people here was trying to do it real time, so I'm trying to be helpful here. I am service-oriented, I am customer-focused oriented, so that's a good thing. First, I would like to, again, thank our sponsors for their continued support of the programs and services that the Urban League provides. And I think we're actually doing some little video with that, so you will see each and every one of them who are so very near and dear and helpful for us to continue that mission for those in need. And thank you very much for that. Also, I would like to, again, congratulate tonight's honorees. We are absolutely so honored and thankful for your contribution to our communities. And we do truly honor you all tonight. I would also like very briefly to recognize the Board of Directors and our board members. If I would please ask our board members if they could please stand for one moment and be recognized. Everybody's. This is a wonderfully talented and capable group of individuals whose dedication and support we are very, very thankful for, and I do appreciate your service. And I would also, again, like to recognize Darnell William, who is our president and CEO of Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. I do thank you for your continued commitment, support, and leadership to enable the growth and long-term success of our organization. I finally would like to thank the members of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts staff. Please, if they would stand, I would like them to also do that too. We are, the board members, obviously, we're very thankful, but the community at large is thankful for their support. Tireless commitment to excellence, passion around our mission, and we are so very thankful for their support. So, as I was coming in here tonight, I thought, as I many times do, think about how wonderfully important the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts is, how it's been important to me as an individual and now as chairman of this organization, but also to how it helps us all in this community and my own personal life. The fact is, I actually grew up just down the road here in Roxbury, Massachusetts, went to the Trotter School, actually learned to swim at the then Boys Club, which is now the Boys and Girls Club, which is right across the street from the Urban League. And it is something very much that I'd like to say, I am who I am today because of that early support. I am who I am today because people were willing to take a chance on me. And it is because of those things that have enabled the success of many others, including myself, that I thought that it was an important thing for me to give back to this organization. So I am so very proud, honored, and humbled with the opportunity to be a member of this board and to now be its chair. And I do thank the Urban League and actually look forward to being the host next year for the National Convention, which I believe is an absolutely fabulous thing. So I not only thank you for your support tonight, but I thank you in advance for your support for the National Convention next year. So very much appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful night. God bless you all, and good evening.
Thank you, John. The next award is the Corporation Leadership Award, which is presented to leading corporations in Greater Boston who maintain a strong and supportive relationship with the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. Now, these organizations understand the importance of encouraging economic and community development through employment, supporting families, and protecting civil rights. And here to introduce this year's Corporate Leadership Award is a good friend of mine, Ms. Tanya Williams-Garrett, Director of Diversity and Inclusion for Stop and Shop.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the recipient for the 2010 Urban League Award to Target Corporation. But before we present this award, let's take a few minutes to watch this video.
Chances are you already know the bullseye. It's the public face of Target and a symbol of who we are, a strong, stable, fiscally responsible company. When you join Target, expect a company with a reputation you can feel good about.
One of the really impressive features of Target is that third-party organizations consistently say it's a company with strong ethics and standards.
To become a part of a company of this size and to put that after my name, it really meant a lot to me that it was a company that I was proud of working for.
You gotta feel good about what the company's doing and the difference that we're making. And how can you not be proud of being a team member at Target with all the things we do in the community?
Since opening our first store, we've given 5% of our pre-tax profits to organizations that support education, the arts, and social services. Today, we give more than $3 million a week to the communities we serve.
It's pretty unique with the Target approach, where it's done on a big stage and on a big level nationally, but also the fact that each individual store has their own budget to be involved in their communities.
The guests can pick the school right there in their community, and they can see how that money is changing or helping different programs at their local school.
Across the country, Target team members have donated countless hours to thousands of community-based projects.
One of the great things about Target is it has a long-standing history of volunteerism. So you're able to, work with people who have the same passions that you do around volunteering, but the company also allows team members to commit the time to do it as well.
That's really what makes team members, excited to, on their off time, sign up to participate because they can go with their friends who are other team members. And as a group, we can go and everyone's proud to represent Target. Through Target, I've done holiday helpers where you actually go to the store and help elderly folks shop for Christmas gifts, and then you help them wrap them, which is something I love doing.
I've volunteered my whole life with my family, and it's great that I'm able to continue that. I love to see that we focus on several different organizations, not just one, and we're able to make an impact on as many as are dear to our team members' hearts.
We are always looking for new opportunities to manage our impact on the environment, using resources responsibly, sourcing sustainable materials, and developing an eco-conscious design philosophy.
Corporate responsibility extends beyond the $3 million we give every week, but it extends into our supply chain, into our vendors, wherever they are, overseas or domestically.
One of the things that you can expect at Target is that our leaders operate with a high degree of integrity. And I would say that that's in everything that we do.
Be part of a team that does the right thing for our guests, shareholders, team members, and communities. Expect the best at Target.
Here to receive the 2010 Corporate Award for Target Corporation is Mr. Jim Hogan, Vice President of Group Sales.
Thank you, Tanya, very much. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the other honorees tonight. I'd also like to thank Board Chair John Harris, President and CEO Darnell Williams, and the other Board of Directors from the Board of Directors of Eastern Massachusetts. As you can see from the video, Target has a long-standing tradition of strengthening families and communities through the company's innovative programming and partnerships. We've built our reputation on service, not just for our guests, but all of our communities. Since 1946, Target has given 5% of its income to communities in support of arts, education, social services, and volunteerism. Today, that tradition translates to over $3 million a week. At Target, thank you. At Target, we do our best to be part of the community as an advocate by providing products and services that meet the needs of our guests and communities we serve. We are widely known for offering our guests everything from Tide detergent to trendy t-shirts. But we know that our products are only a small fraction of how we give back. It is our history of strong ethical governance, our commitment to making environmentally friendly decisions, and our legacy of service that makes a real difference in our local communities. To make all this possible, we believe there's three parties that come together: city government, community leadership, and business. We could have not have done this alone. Therefore, tonight, there are several people I want to thank for their time, enthusiasm, and commitment. First, Mayor Menino. He has a truly first-class team around him that makes our job easier. He provides the support and the people needed to help us accomplish great things in this community. Commissioner Davis, thanks for your assistance with our recent Shop with a Cop event. With your help, 100 officers came to our South Bay Target store and provided Boston kids not just with a fun night of shopping, but a great opportunity to develop lasting relationships with your officers. Thank you, Mayor Menino, for helping connect Target with Commissioner Davis. I'd also like to thank Superintendent Dr. Carol Johnson. Thank you for your partnership with the library makeover at the Mather Elementary School in Dorchester. Without you and your team, we would have never been able to achieve the results we did. I also want to thank our President and CEO, Darnell Williams, for initiating the relationship between Dr. Johnson and Target. And I also would like to be the first to share some exciting news. The mayor, Dr. Johnson, myself, and other dignitaries announced at the Marshall Elementary School in Dorchester last week that that school will receive an extreme Target library makeover in 2010. Lastly, I'd like to thank a few people on the Target team. I'd like to thank Glenn Strawn. He's our store team leader in the Watertown store. Glenn has been the face of the Urban League for Target and has been a tremendous job. Thank you, Glenn. Mario Vieira, our store team leader in the South Bay store, has served as our community relations captain and led the Target Library Makeover team. More recently, he's leading our relationship with the Greater Boston Food Bank. Thank you, Mario. Andy Shirelli, our group merchandising team leader, and Lori Curlin, our store team leader in Everett. Thank you both for your involvement with the mayor's Christmas toy drive. Jorge Corteza, thank you. He's our store team leader in Stoughton, and he's always available to step up to the challenge. If it's a Boston Globe Book Festival, the Beantown Jazz Festival, the Boston Arts Festival, he always steps up, so thank you, Jorge. On behalf of myself and the Urban League, please go back to your store teams and thank them for their hard work. From our products to our volunteerism, Target's reputation is built upon not only what we say, but what we do. As good corporate citizens, we are doing our part to build trust, one guest, one neighborhood, and one community at a time. Thank you and have a great evening.
Mr. Hogan, I'm going to ask you to stand next to this lovely lady right here. And look at this lovely man over here, Mr. Don West. Photo op. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, during the course of this evening, I am going to point out some of our distinguished guests. It's a long list, so I'll do it in batches if that's okay with Darnell. So I'm going to start off with, let's acknowledge the president of United Way, someone who I met recently. I'm on their board now. Mr. Mike Durkin. Is Mike Durkin here? There he is, Mike. Nice to see you again. John and Shelby Gibbons, U.S. Marshal, is here as well. Please take a moment to recognize him. Herman Lessard, Senior Vice President, National Urban League, is also here. Please take a stand, or they're somewhere. I know they're here. Marie St. Fleur, State Representative. She's always in the house everywhere. I know Marie should be here. We've already heard a little bit. You've already been acknowledged, but I'll do it again. Commissioner Ed Davis, Boston Police, Boston. And then one of my favorite people in the community, Reverend Hammond, from the pastor at Bethel AME Church. You will hear more about him later tonight as well. Nice to see you as well, Reverend. Okay, now to present, well, let me tell you a little bit about what the next award is. The Molly Moon Award is named for Miss Molly L. Moon, the dynamic founder of the National Urban League Guild, who was an exemplary national model for volunteer service. Now, the award is bestowed upon individuals who have made an impact on the lives of others. And here to present this award is Mary McLaughlin, Area Vice President for Comcast. Or is it now Xfinity? Explain that to me.
Good evening, everybody. I'm proud to present the winner of the 2010 Molly Moon Award to the Hank Miller Company, a manufacturer of industrial textiles in Boston since 1910. The Hank Miller Company is celebrating 100 years in business this year and is proud supporters of the hiring employees from the community. Here to receive this award is the president of the Hank Miller Company, none other than Mr. Hank Miller.
Thank you very much. So I promise you that you will appreciate my speech most of all this evening because it will be the shortest. First of all, thank you very much for this honor. It's very kind of you to recognize Harry Miller Company and me in this way. I want to, it's been 100 years for Harry Miller Company, the same as the Urban League. What a coincidence, who would have thought? Congratulations, Darnell. Congratulations to the Urban League, and thank you again. You know, you're only on this planet a very short time, so while you're here, you want to volunteer and you want to do good. Thank you very much.
Picture time. While they're taking their pictures, I will acknowledge a few more very important folks who are here. Everybody's really important, but we have to get some of these folks here. Mark Conrad, chairman of the parole board, is he here? Of course, if Jackie's here, he's here. Jackie's his wife, if you don't know. Marvin Gilmore, legendary award recipient, MCCA. Is he here tonight? Jim Rooney, executive director of the Exhibition Center. Jim. Paul Grogan, president of the Boston Foundation. I know he's here. Nereida Perez, executive for National Grid. Nereida, are you here? National Grid is here as well. Marcy Reed, also executive for National Grid as well. And David Ortiz of the Boston. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just making sure you're paying attention. Actually, he's a friend of mine, but he might do better here than Fenway tonight. Don't tell him I said that. Too late, right? Where is my 80s music, by the way? I mean, who doesn't love the 80s? Michael Jackson, Thriller, Purple Rain, Prince, Madonna started in the 80s. I mean, what did the 90s give us? Greg Almeida's favorite artist, Vanilla Ice. He's a good friend, too, so I can get away with that. See, the friends of mine I can, make fun of. The other guys I can't, but Greg and Jerome are very good friends. Cleve is here in the house, so you can expect a few. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave Cleve alone. I'm going to leave Cleve alone tonight. All right. I can hear these comments in the front row, you know. I'm glad they can. All right. The next guy is actually one of the guys I can make fun of. If I told you the next guy is a tall white guy who did really well here in Boston, you'd probably think of Larry Bird, with the 80s theme. But no, not at all. He has done well, not on the basketball court, but on the banking scene. And I want to introduce now a very, very good friend of mine, Mr. Bill Fenton from Bank of America. Bill. AKA Larry.
Good evening. My name is Bill Fenton. I'm with Bank of America. I manage community investments for most of New England. I don't go too far beyond Rhode Island these days. I'm here tonight, and it's with great pleasure to present this year's President's Award. The Urban League bestows the President's Award upon an individual who has devoted themselves to improving the quality of life for the diverse community of men, women, and children throughout the greater Boston area. The recipient of this year's award is Mr. William E. McGonigal, the administrator for the Boston Housing Authority. Bill comes from a family of 8 and was born and raised right here in South Boston, and a product of public housing, of a public housing development in South Boston. For over 30 years, he has worked with family and on behalf of public housing residents in Boston. His advocacy for the commitment to help improve the lives of others and Boston housing residents has not gone unnoticed. And tonight, we proudly applaud Bill's efforts. Please look at your program books and give us a round warm of applause for Mr. Bill McGonigal.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. What a great entrance that was, huh? Let's do that again. I guess I'm pleased that I didn't have to follow the Reverend Robert to the podium. I've seen both of those gentlemen speak in public, and it's kind of like following Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett if you're a lounge singer. So I'm glad I get up here first. A couple of things. First, let me thank Billy Fenton for those kind words. I have spent the past 30 years of my life working with and on behalf of the public housing residents of this city, and spent the first 21 years of my life as a resident of public housing. And one of our honorees, one of my fellow honorees tonight, is also a product of public housing. Robert Lewis spent many years in the Maverick Housing Development out in East Boston. So I want to thank Darnell for this truly outstanding honor. I am grateful and humbled to have been chosen, and I also feel blessed that I have been able to spend 30 years of my life serving the public housing residents of this great city. Of the many accomplishments and progress that I think we have made in public housing in Boston over the past several decades, I think the two things that I am most proud of are the hard work that we have done to ensure that we are employing minorities and women. We've got a very good track record in that regard in our construction sites, and we work every day to improve that. And perhaps the highlight of my career, although it was a very difficult time, was the integration of the public housing developments in South Boston and Charlestown, and I was then Doris Bunte's point person. There were some very difficult times for the city, but I am extremely proud of the contributions that I was able to make and others were able to make. Robert was certainly there with us as well. And I think we have changed the face of the city in a permanent way as a result of those efforts. So with that, I just again would want to thank Darnell and the Urban League for this great honor. I would like to acknowledge some family members that are here with me this evening. I'm not sure if I know where they are, but I have my nieces, Katie and Juliana, over there, with Katie's husband, Sander. And my son, Mark, is here somewhere with his wife, Katie. Mark, where are you, Mark? He's whistling somewhere. If I could just do an unabashed father's plug. Mark is also a candidate for state representative in the 4th Suffolk District, and he's been working very hard, and I happen to think he'd make a wonderful member of the Great and General Court. So please keep that in mind. His wife, Katie, who grew up in Harbor Point in a family of 10. Harbor Point is, by the way, part of the 4th Suffolk District. We plan on spending a lot of time campaigning out there. But she's 8 months pregnant, and she's about to give me, a grandfather, the most greatest gift that a daughter-in-law can give, and that's another grandchild, and we're expecting that in May. So Mark and Katie and Juliana and Katie, my niece Katie, and Sander, thank you for being here, and I love you all very much. Thank you all. Now, I'll try not to fall going down the stairs.
Bill, we're going to go right this way.
We're going to go this way. Let's do it safe.
Let me present the award. Might as well do
Right.
that.
Great, thank you. Great, thanks.
Stairs are right here.
Good.
And that was without a few drinks. Imagine if you would have had a few drinks. I'm just kidding, Bill. Okay, our next presenter is not only a member of the board, but he is the president of Taylor Smith Properties. Please help me welcome Mr. Richard Taylor.
Thanks very much, Alberto, and good evening again to you all. It is my pleasure to present to you our honorees for the Lee F. Jackson Award. All three honorees play an integral role in the unique network of partners that comprises Street Safe Boston. Street Safe Boston is a community-based anti-violence program created by the Boston Foundation to provide at-risk young adults life-saving services and resources to denormalize violence in their lives and in the community. Page 63 of the program booklet gives a detailed outline of the Street Safe program. The Lee F. Jackson Achievement Award is bestowed upon individuals whose demonstrated developments and achievements impact the causes of equity, access, and justice in the diverse world of the 21st century. Formerly known as the 21st Century Achievement Award, the Urban League renamed the award in honor of our former board member and friend who at the time of his death was the treasurer for the city of Boston. You will recall in April of 1996, he was on that fateful plane with the Honorable Secretary of Commerce, Ron Brown, that crashed in the mountains of Croatia. And so in recognition of his life to service and to the league and to the community, we renamed the award. This year's awardees are Mr. Robert Lewis, Vice President for Programs at the Boston Foundation, where among other things, he works collaboratively to support organizations and programs that have an impact on Street Safe Boston. Reverend Ray Hammond, a nationally recognized and respected religious leader who is also passionate about work with at-risk youth in the urban city of Boston. He is also one of the founders and now chairs the 10-Point Coalition. And Ed Davis is the 40th police commissioner. What a great, great job he is doing in the city of Boston, and an ardent supporter of working with at-risk youth to decrease violence in our urban communities. Please join me in welcoming all three 2010 Lee F. Jackson awardees for Street Safe Boston. Gentlemen, please come forward.
We'll get the picture done now. Mr. Don West will do the honors. Don't worry, guys. Tip-off for the Celtics Miami game is in 20 minutes. I'll keep you guys updated. All right.
One at a time, take your time. In any order, sir.
Good evening. It is a seriously dangerous thing to put a preacher before an open mic. You could end up like that young girl who, after the pastor dragged on for some time, finally leaned over and said, "Mommy, if we give him the money now, will he let us go?" I promise to let you go if you'll just allow me to say a few thank yous. Thank you to my friend and a great servant leader named Darnell Williams, and all the Urban League staff and board who, through their programs and advocacy, do the day in and day out work of really increasing the economic self-reliance of people of color. Thank you to my fellow honorees, Commissioner Ed Davis, a friend and partner who has proven that he takes seriously the community in community policing. He came to Boston with that reputation, and he has proven that what we heard about him is real. To my beloved Boston Foundation, and to Robert Lewis, also a friend and partner who challenged and then helped a group of pastors in 1994 to really move out of their sanctuaries and onto the streets of Boston, a challenge that helped to give birth to the 10-Point Coalition. He and the foundation have been and still remain one of Boston's finest assets. Thank you to the men and women of the Boston 10-Point Coalition. I'm going to ask if any of them are here, if they would stand, and also the members of Bethel AME Church. I want to thank those who are here from the coalition, who are an extraordinary board and staff of self-sacrificing people under the leadership of the inimitable Reverend Jeffrey Brown. They work on the streets, in the courts, through the churches, with police, and alongside public, private, nonprofit, and faith-based partners all over this region and around the country. And to all the young people who really make the things that I and many of you do so rewarding. I want to say a word of thank you to my wife, Gloria, and to a church congregation that was one of the founding members of the 10-Point Coalition, a congregation which invested over $100,000 in high-risk youth ministry years ago, before they had a building in which to worship, and before any foundation or individual had contributed a single cent to their outreach efforts. Now, despite the horrendous economic conditions, we have made great progress in Boston in making our city safer. Now our challenge is to reach the families who will give us our next generation of high-risk youth with the prenatal, early childhood, educational, job, mental health, substance abuse, and other services they need. We have a pretty good idea of who those families are, and we will have ourselves to blame if 10 years from now we are wondering why we are having to do all over again what we did in the 90s and in this decade. The challenges are great, but I'm confident that we have what it takes to meet that challenge. And so tonight I say God bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. And I'd like to take a minute to thank Donnell Williams and the board chair and the board of the Urban League for recognizing the work here. Darnell and I have known each other for a long time, longer than I've been here in Boston. When I was a police chief up in Lowell, I worked with Donnell on issues of racial profiling. And I was impressed by his commitment to the state, his commitment to his community, and his commitment to pragmatism and logic in dealing with these complicated issues that we have to deal with as a community to make sure that everyone is equal. Everyone deserves equal justice. Everyone deserves equal benefits from their city. And we're working hard to make that happen. Darnell and I have had long conversations about the quality of life. And the quality of life in Milton and the quality of life in Dorchester and Roxbury should be exactly the same. We should have people who live in homes that are safe. Thank you, Donna. We should have people who are secure in their homes. We should have people that don't have to listen to gunfire. We should have people that are confident that they can live in peace and make their lives something that they can be proud of with their families. And that's really what we're striving for in this program. Mayor Menino made it clear to me that community policing was what he wanted delivered here in the city of Boston. And I've tried really hard to make that happen. I followed him around from community group to community group, trying hard to keep up with him, which everybody knows is a difficult task for anyone. But the truth of the matter is he is as plugged in and knowledgeable as to what happens in Roxbury and Dorchester and Mattapan as he is in his own community of Hyde Park. He knows everyone in the city, talks to everyone, understands where the problems are, and makes sure that we deliver community policing. It's about prevention, it's about quality of life, it's about opportunity for kids in our neighborhoods. And when John Harris can come from Roxbury and rise to the heights of business. That's exactly the type of model that we want to make clear is possible for anyone in our neighborhood. So it's a tremendous pleasure to be able to be involved in community policing here in this great community, and to work with people like Reverend Hammond, who is out there on the streets with us. The other people who have received awards here tonight, I have worked with every one of them. The Reverend is out at night in the middle of some of these terrible incidents that occur, and it is a high-risk ministry that he does, and along with Jeff Brown and the other ministers and reverends that are out there with us all the time. And then Robert Lewis and Paul Grogan and the work that's done at the Boston Foundation in recognizing that our strength lies in community partnerships. Our strength lies in not so much prosecution and arrest, although that's an important component of what we do, but it's more important to prevent crime. It's more important to have wraparound services for those individuals who we can see are going down that path of violence. And that's what we're able to do through this program. It's about everyone working together. It's about delivering safety to communities. It's about working with kids that have been considered lost in the past. None of them are lost. We can make progress with every single kid out there, and that's our mission. Prevent crime, make the city safe, and work together. It's very simple, but it's very hard to get accomplished. We're accomplishing it here in the city of Boston. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. As I stand up here, and you're pausing and you're thinking. You're standing up here with Reverend Hammond, and we're standing on the stage, and I'm thinking about the times when we were the warriors and the crusaders in the community. And we're standing out there with those young men and women and looking in the eye and reminding them that the possibilities for them are there if we just love them. You stand here with Commissioner Davis, one of the finest police commissioners in the country, and as he was talking about community policing, but just continues to reach out his hand and his heart to this great community. I want to congratulate Target for receiving an award, Billy McGonigal. What Billy didn't say, as well as I had the privilege of working with Billy. And a quick true story, Billy brought me, it was probably in 1993, Billy had me, and he brought me to get me a hot dog. And he said, Robert, what can we do to make sure that we're making the biggest impact in the lives of residents in public housing? And I said, Billy, what you need is you need a leader that's going to believe in public housing and do this work. Billy bought me a hot dog and offered me the job. And I actually accepted the job when he bought me the second hot dog. And I say this honestly, Billy McGonigal, and the work you've done for residents in public housing, integrated public housing, you are a leader, and you're a leader for so many to follow, so thank you. The Urban League, Darnell, thank you so much. You are a leader, and I've said this to you over and over. Your commitment to our community, your commitment to the young folks and the families is just in your tireless work. To the board, to the staff, to the Urban League team, thank you. I have the privilege also of working for an outstanding institution. I have my colleagues that are here with the Boston Foundation. So you can imagine if you know Paul Grogan, and Paul Grogan, as I've said when I came to work for him, one of the finest leaders we have. But also walking up and saying, Paul, we must do something to really take on and address this issue. And Paul never blinked. And what Paul says is that we needed to do this, and we met with Ray, we met with the commissioner, we met with the community, and the Boston Foundation actually is so committed to the Street Safe Initiative, actually made $1 million a year commitment for 5 years. And what Paul did is he put his money where his mouth is, and I want to acknowledge Paul, the CEO of the foundation, my colleagues that are also here at the table. Thank you for the work that you do. We also have folks who usually never get a chance to come to these dinners, the practitioners. There are street workers that are here, folks that make up the Street Safe team. Thank you for your work. You are the true heroes of our community, and I want to acknowledge you for that as well. But this thing could not work unless it's a public-private partnership. I stand here, we receive the acknowledgement. Mike Dirk, and I see, where's George Russell who's here? So many donors and funders who have stepped up and realized in Boston, we will win this battle. We must win this battle. We have to defeat 13 children every day in America are murdered. 13 children every day are murdered. When you take a look at that, folks, and we take a look that we're losing over 4,000 young black and brown young people to murder. We can't have this, and I know with the folks here that we won't. I can't do this work unless I also have some great friends and my wife, Nada. And my wife is very quiet, and she allows me to do this work when I'm out at night doing all of this. And I just want to say, Nada, just thank you for believing in me and the work that we do. And I really want to just acknowledge and recognize you. I walk off the stage, and for folks who know me, I can't walk off without a challenge. Let's not be afraid to look at young folks who might look different from us and say hello. It's not a hard thing to do. Let's not take a look at folks, and someone has this thing that there are these drive-bys. But I say we drive by these young folks quite often. What I'm asking us to do is to stand and believe in them. Because if we do, 20 years from now, you might be honoring another person who grew up in public housing, graduated from Boston Public School, and was called at risk, and is now responsible for giving away $16 million at the Boston Foundation. You never know who you might save. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Could someone tell the DJ that's from the 70s? That's off the wall. We need Thriller. Okay. Also, please take a look at your booklets if you want more information on these wonderful awards. I would be remiss not to remind everybody about that. Now, the next person who's coming up here, before I introduce him, I remember as a young kid, there was a big Super Bowl commercial. I don't know if many of you will remember this because this is one of the most famous Super Bowl commercials. If you remember, during the Super Bowl, I think it was in Super Bowl 1977, 78, little boys in the runway of a football field during the game, and Pittsburgh Steelers guy, Mean Joe Green, walks by, and he's all hurt and everything, and the little boy offers him, "Sir, do you want a Coke?" And Mean Joe Green says, "No." And the little boy says, "Here." And he finally takes it, and he drinks it all. That was one of the most famous Super Bowl commercials of all time. Coca-Cola put that together, obviously. So the next gentleman who's going to come up here and congratulate all the winners represents Coca-Cola. Please welcome Mr. Bill Bonin from Coca-Cola. I was trying to cue him up so he'd be right next to the stage. I thought he'd get it that he was next.
Thank you. Thank you to the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts for allowing Coca-Cola to be an active participant in this event. And we look forward to many years going forward of participating in this event. I would like to take this time to honor all the honorees and congratulate them for the work they do each and every day, and looking forward to a continued partnership. I'd additionally like to call out especially to Target Corporation for their sponsorship and allowing Coca-Cola to be part of this great urban league. Through the partnership with Target, Coca-Cola is looking forward to many, many years participating. Thank you, and everybody have a good evening.
Play it a little more. I don't remember that one. Hold on. Does it? I got these people going. Who is that? Who is it? Culture Club. Culture or something. Rumors, right? Okay, I got it. All right, that was in the mid-'80s. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Jerome. Obviously, you're a big 80s music fan as well. All right. That was great. I also want to acknowledge, is Mel King here? Are you back there, Mel? Mel King is in the house as well. So I'd like to acknowledge him as well. Karen Payne, President, Boston Chapter, NAACP, is here as well. Please acknowledge her. State Representative John Rogers is here as well. John, are you here? And someone who I want to meet later, Mr. Nigel Travis, President, Duncan Brands, is also here. And last but not least, on this list anyways, the General Manager for MBTA, Rich Davey, is here. Rich, are you here? Great. All right, our next person to come up here. Now, you've seen these commercials, right? I think it's on or bags fly free. Remember, the airline that does not, the only one that does not charge us for our bags? Who is it? The ad works. The ad's working. Okay, representing, I'm glad you said Southwest. Southwest Airlines, Karen Price Ward. I think her bags made it, but I don't know if she's made it. Oh, there she comes, yep.
Okay, we do try to be on time just about every place we go. So I am here, and actually Southwest Airlines is here. We are so happy to be in Boston. It's been about time, don't you think? We're so delighted to have a new partnership with the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. So I want to thank you because it is my great opportunity to go around to many urban leagues across the country and to go to many galas that are like this. And we need to give a huge applause to the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts because this is not an easy feat. You have done this with grace, with elegance, and you have made it look very easy. Congratulations to the staff, to the board of directors, to your host committee, and to all of the honorees. Now, I am here to share a great honor with students. Education, of course, is so important to you. It's important to Southwest Airlines. And we are here to share Student Travel Awards. You're probably asking, what is a Student Travel Award? It is an opportunity for 7 students to be announced tonight to receive a round-trip airline ticket on Southwest Airlines. This ticket will give them the opportunity to travel to any of our 68 destinations across the country. No blackout dates, no restrictions, and we really do hope that they will use this as an opportunity to further their education. Maybe it's to seek an internship, to build a relationship with a mentor, or maybe to go to an educational conference. So without further ado, I'd like to share the names of the 7 students who are here in your metropolitan area. They are Anita Kaba of Denison University of Roxbury, Brittany Reed of Western Kentucky University of Roxbury, Gala Thompson, Morgan State University of Boston, Shanice Higginbottom, Hampton University of Dorchester, Nigesta Salter, Columbia College, Mattapan, Olu Watani Anatande, Stanford University of Mattapan, and the last person is Shawnette McCoy of Tuskegee University of Dorchester. Congratulations to the 7 students, and we know that this is your opportunity to soar. Thank you very much.
Good evening to all my friends at the Urban League. I'm sorry I couldn't join you tonight in person, but I wanted to send along my very best wishes to everyone on this very special occasion. For 100 years, the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts has been doing good and making good in our Commonwealth. More than just helping people, though, you've been bringing them together. And I'm glad, because like you, I know that without a sense of community, nothing else we do matters. The infrastructure and business investments, clean energy and life sciences and jobs programs, education reform, and so on, all of them are vitally important. But none of them will succeed the way they should unless we begin with the simple recognition of the stake we have in each other, in our neighbors' dreams and struggles as well as our own. Unless we not only live in communities but act like a community. That's what the Urban League has done for the last 100 years. And I hope you'll continue to do just that for the next 100. And it's that strength of community that I'm so eager to show off when, for the first time in 35 years, the National Urban League Convention comes to Boston next year. I hope to see you all there. Congratulations to all of tonight's awardees, but a special shout out to my dear friend, Cleve Killingsworth. You've been a great, great role model and example of civic leadership in this community, and we appreciate you so much. Thanks to everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. I want to give a shout out to Betty Robinson. She's the president of the United League of Eastern Massachusetts Guild and also a board member as well. So we're going to take a break right now. So I asked the staff, Karen, I always look at that little thing, whoever's serving me, leave my salad there because I get a chance now to eat, because in about 15, 20 minutes, we'll come back. So we're going to take a little break and we'll be right back. right, Prince. When Doves Cry from the movie Purple Rain, right? We remember watching that? I want to remind everybody that the silent auction will end in a few moments, so please, if you haven't made your last bid or if you haven't checked on your bid, do that now. We've got about 15 minutes before that happens, so please, please get in your final bids for tonight. Also have to report a couple final scores. As we know, the Bruins won tonight. They came back. On the flip side, the Red Sox lost the first game of the two games, 3-1. They dropped it. The Boston Celtics are tied 19-19. So that's the four-game update for tonight. And I hope to be home to catch the end of that game. So, Darnell, I want to keep it rolling. I don't want to fall behind. So, having said that, it is my pleasure to introduce the two gentlemen who will present the final award of the evening. Could you please help me welcome Mr. Steve Howard of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts and our own Darnell Williams, President of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts.
All yours. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You want to go first? No, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. We are so grateful that all of you are here. Now, you know, when I hear people talking, I can do two things. I can continue to talk, or I can ask them to turn on the house lights because I know everybody in here. So if you just kind of simmer down and work with me for a minute. Steve Howard and I are here because what we want to do on a personal and professional note is to recognize someone who's been in our midst. Boston is a very, very great city, historic city. And when people come into our presence, sometimes they come and they go and we don't really say anything. But we thought tonight was really special that we can not only have our governor send a message, do video, and then Steve and I are standing up here to send a more personal message about Cleve Killingsworth. Let's give him a round of applause. Cleve is a professional who gets it. He came into our midst. He recognized with his business acumen what it took to get the job done, but he also did not forget where he came from. And Cleve, tonight we're standing here in solidarity, both the governor and Steve and myself, to recognize the work that you've done in this city, your leadership, your example, and really in just your personal, because he's the kind of guy that he's very observant. And by the way, Darren, he's smart too. He's smart, but he gets it. And we felt very, very strongly that we wanted to give you the recognition of being in this city, doing the work that you did and you will continue to do within the healthcare arena. And so with that, we believe that our combined message will send a message not only to the city, but also to you and to your wife, that we love you and we respect and honor you.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the employees from Blue Cross and Blue Shield, we wanted to say thank you. I believe we're all over at table 11, and would you all stand up? I see Pat Washington, and I wanted to have an opportunity to make sure that people who worked for you for the 6 years that you were here had an opportunity to say thank you. I personally want to say thank you to you for being my friend, my mentor, my big brother, even though you're only 3 months older than I am. You don't know what your friendship has meant to me. And I don't think that the city knows what his leadership has meant and how much you're going to be missed. You chaired the gala last year. It took one question: Cleve, will you do it? You looked at me, you looked at Darnell, and you said, sure. You know, this is the right thing to do. And I'll say this about Cleve. If you want to know where Cleve stands, it's on the side of doing the right thing. Thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. You will be missed. You are an innovator. You are a gentleman.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I recommend you take the stairs.
I practiced that earlier. my goodness. I almost lost it sitting right there with these great brothers. Darnell was one of the first people I met when I came to Boston. He was classy then, he's classy today. He is a man who's making extraordinary differences in the lives of so many people. And he does it in this quiet, really sophisticated way that is a compliment to the board and the staff of the Urban League. And Steve has been a labor of love, because you have to love Steve, you know, to be able to, like, you know, do Steve right. But you all know him, and I bet you don't know a lovelier, sweeter man, and his commitment to doing the right thing. I mean, that's where you can really see it. Just check his values at any point in time. You'll see he's plugged in to all the right stuff. And I want to thank the board of the Urban League for this extraordinary honor. It's a very special honor for me and for my wife, Darren, especially at this time when we're doing a lot of thinking about Boston and thinking about our experience here. And it has been an outstanding experience here in Boston. Darren also is responsible for my kind of extraordinary life. She is not only a great contributor in the community, the time she takes with incarcerated girls, where she doesn't write a check or just write a check. I've seen the checks. But, you know, but she goes on site, you know, in these prisons and goes through the, you know, the screening thing and the search thing and trying to get books in that don't have wire binding. I mean, it's just an extraordinary process, but she does that because she thinks that's the right thing to do. And when she's not doing that, she has created just an extraordinary life. I would not have a life if it wasn't for the role she plays in mine. So, sweetheart, I thank you very deeply. I just want to mention that I just want to put in a plug for corporate America. You know, those of us in corporate America are having a bit of a tough time now because of, you know, the recession and some of the stuff that drove the recession. But on the other hand, these corporations are places where people can excel and make a difference in terms of the products that are made and the relationship between that corporation and the community. And that relationship is not defined absolutely yet. I mean, we need to do better, and there are ways of doing better. So I would urge you to understand that, you know, there've been some recent difficult times for corporations, but guess what? Things are getting better now. We're on the uptick. And I think you need to work with corporations to make them increasingly responsible and make them increasing contributors in the community. Don't let them get away with this my shareholders thing. Just point out to them that these places reside in our communities. And I think you're going to find open arms, not closed arms. So the process of getting that done is something that you all should insist that we continue. And these two guys, by the way, understand what it takes to get that done. Also, I just need to have more of you have the experience that I've had, and more young people be on the road to having the experiences I've had. In the jobs I've had, and especially in this job at Blue Cross, I have met some of the most interesting, fascinating people in my life. Just extraordinary folks. Well, almost every day somebody would be in, you know, who had a clear vision about something they need to accomplish, or product that they have designed and are trying to deploy. I mean, I think corporate America is still an extraordinary place for young people to aspire to, you know, kind of now having seen it from the top of a major corporation. This is good work, and when you consider the fact that we don't know how to solve all the problems we have to solve, making sure that young people get there is important. And finally, you know, Darren and I, having received this honor tonight, and the gratitude and grace with which you guys have bestowed it, there could not be a better send-off for us, you know, as we move to this next phase in our lives together. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
I'm going to keep this speech. I'm going to use it.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard many people make reference of in 2011, after 35 years, the National Urban League Conference is coming to Boston. I would ask two stalwart leaders and executives here in Boston to come to the stage and join me at the podium. There should be a slide. As you can see, State Street Corporation and George Russell and Bill Fenton from Bank of America. Now, this is not rehearsed in any way, but I want to also, as George is walking up to the stage, George is going to be the proud recipient of an honorary doctorate degree from UMass Boston come June of this year. Let's give our Dr. George Russell a round of applause. Now, I'm not going to give him the mic, but I do want to recognize that these corporations have stood up because they know what this means for the city of Boston. Let's give State Street and Bank of America a round of applause. I am so honored. They recognize leadership, they recognize the opportunity, and in my speech that I'm going to be talking about in a moment, I'm going to be very, very brief. But let me just say this with all due sincerity. Everybody in this room has a part to play. There are many people in here who can be volunteers. The corporations, you can step up to be just right with George and with Bill and Alicia Verity from Bank of America. All of you have played such a critical role, and we're very, very grateful. And so I'm just honored, gentlemen, that your corporations have stepped up to say that when it comes to Boston, when the conference comes here, we're going to be ready for them. Thank you very much. I'd like to draw your attention to a short video because a lot of times people come up here and they talk about me. It's never about me. It's about my staff and my teammates. They do the work. I just happen to be the quarterback. But we want to make sure that you have a real good sense that the money that you give us, where does it go? Because every program that we do, we don't charge people for it. It's free. But let's let you see exactly how it makes an impact.
Welcome to the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts 18th Annual Awards Gala. Our focus for 2010 is jobs, jobs, jobs. Job training, job development, and job placement. Tonight you will hear the true stories of people whose lives are being changed by partnering with the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts.
Right now, we're enrolled in a 6-week course called Customer Service Training.
You know, as we talked about the communication, we said there were 2 levels of communication. You remember?
And we go from 9 a.m. to basically around 3 o'clock. The training we're receiving right now is really, really impressive. I really enjoy the course. The instructors are great. Even though it's intensive, there's so much information, but it's really great.
State Street Corporation, one of our corporate partners, places interns and qualified employees trained at the Urban League's Roxbury office.
State Street has a great relationship with the Urban League, and I believe it is a win-win situation for both the Urban League and State Street because as we're serving our community, but we also benefited as an organization from these talented folks.
At the Urban League, they train me to build up my technical skill, such as financial and accounting, and how to navigate in the corporation environment.
The state-of-the-art Boston Carpenters Apprenticeship and Training Center, in an unprecedented arrangement, has set aside valuable slots for highly motivated Urban League trainees.
We are currently working with the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts with Darnell and Trin to bring people from the community into the workforce, into the Carpenters Union, to go into the training program so they can become the workforce of the future for the 21st century.
I think it's important for other corporations throughout the greater Boston area to be supportive of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. It's important for companies to look at what brings value to them as companies, and the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts certainly brings a value set and a quality of services to the community that would be important to any corporation's mission of community service.
The partnership between the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts and its sponsoring organizations is more than just a check. Together, we build, expand, and share resources and ideas to further our mutual goals, uplifting our community while providing trained, motivated employees for the workforce of today and beyond.
My firm, Seyfarth Shaw, is a longtime supporter of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. It is a good corporate partner. It supports the League in a number of ways, devoting its full resources to it, its people, its passion, its time, its energy, and its financial resources.
And now a word from our President and CEO, Darnell Williams.
I ask each and every one of you that are here tonight that you become a member of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. Your individual and personal contribution can make a lasting difference in the life of so many people. My presentation tonight has been stated, the impact that we have on people. I want to make sure that all of my staff and teammates that are in here know that as I stand here and represent you, that I could not do this work without your efforts. They're out there doing the silent auction, which I believe is going to be closing soon, so you can feed the economy anytime. But I really am very humbled by the work that we do each and every day for the folks who come into our building. The National Urban League is celebrating 100 years, and our national message is about education of children, employment, jobs, housing, and affordable and accessible health care. We honor their legacy. We represent the present as we prepare for the future. To all the Reverend clergy in the room, Governor Patrick and Mayor Menino, elected officials, Jerome Smalls from TGX, thank you, Jerome, for stepping up in a time when we needed you. To all of our corporate partners that are in the room, we want to thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I really want to send a very personal note to all of you as I welcome you as our special guests. And as we celebrate our awardees tonight, I've been hearing throughout as I walk around, everybody has been touched by your message, but all collectively of what you've done together. And we wanted to let you know that you were just not selected out of the sky. Because as I walk around this city and I take the 23, Rich, or the 666, or the 42, or the Silver Line, I see the faces of people and the weight of life on their faces, and I see what these people do and how they're changing Boston for the better. So you were selected for what you do and for who you are. There are a couple of people here from the National Urban League I do want to acknowledge. Michael Thompson is our Vice President of Event Marketing. Where is Michael? I think he's somewhere over there. There he is over here. And this person is responsible for the 2011 conference. So you make sure you see him. Jackie and Neil McMillan are also here from the National Urban League staff. Let's give them a round of applause. We have two very personal friends, our late Senator and our friend Edward Kennedy, Ted Kennedy, and Senator, let's give him a round of applause. That's right. Ted Kennedy and Senator Kerry submitted the name of our friend to President Obama. John has had a 27-year in law enforcement and a state trooper, and he's worked his way through the ranks, working in FBI and drug task force and such. But what President Obama did, and he was confirmed by the U.S. Senate, and he is now sitting as a U.S. Marshal appointed by President Obama, John and Shelby Gibbons from Springfield. Let's give them a round of applause. They drove in from Springfield. I want them to be here with us tonight. John and Shelby, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence tonight. To John Harris, the chair of the board, to Richard Taylor as our outgoing chair, and to my entire board. Do I got a good board of directors or what? It is him. These guys and ladies, they work. For your extraordinary commitment and energy devoted to the Urban League, I say thank you. And I would be really not smart if I didn't acknowledge my partner. My wife, my soulmate, my partner. I don't have to look any further. She's right here, Colleen Williams. My daughter is somewhere in the room, her and Sayana, so they're out there, so I don't know. What I don't see, I don't know. I'm very proud of them. They're some two nice young ladies. And to all of my friends and fellow diaconate members from Morning Star Baptist Church, thank you for being here tonight. That's right, that's a shout out. And I'm coming to a close because my speech is really no more than a prayer. Several years ago, I had the good fortune of being in the presence of Cesar Chavez. And he shared this prayer because he was in the midst of the migrant workers. And he said to me, Darnell, you know, just continue doing the work that you're doing because you are making a difference. And I'm honored to share this prayer with you. Show me the suffering of the most miserable, so I will know my people's plight. Free me to pray for others, for you are present in every person. Help me to take the responsibility for my own life, so that I can be free at last. Grant me courage to serve others, for in service there is true life. Give me honesty and patience, so that I can work with others and bring forth song and celebration, so that the Spirit will be alive among us. Let the Spirit flourish and let it grow, so that we will never grow tired of the struggle. Let us remember those who have died for justice, for they have given us life. Help us to love those who hate us, so we can change the world. Amen. Thank you for being here tonight.
All right. Come on.
Now, I'm not dancing, all right? Something that's not in the script, and I want Darnell to listen to this because I've got a group of folks who really want to say thank you to you, Darnell, because as this room does not know, tomorrow afternoon or late morning, you'll be getting on a plane. You forgot about that, huh? Darnell will be getting on a plane destined for Haiti in an effort to raise funds and awareness, and he will be accompanied, yes, from some very important members of one of your sponsors, State Street. My good friend Sabine Slot gave me the shout out. Sandy Cody, the whole State Street gang is over here. Some of the interns are here. We hope that they get hired. Senior management, please take note. Some of these kids are great. Let's help out the interns here, right, Cleve? I mean, corporate America, but we can find jobs for some of these hardworking kids. Herbie Duvernay of Massport is also on this trip. Charlotte Gola Ritchie, Dr. Gerald Reed. So they're all going tomorrow. So, and Darnell, an honorable mission for you tomorrow. And you forgot to mention it, but I didn't. So, okay, no problem. And also Walmart gave a check for $20,000, right? So we want to acknowledge Walmart. They're here as well. So great job, guys. Okay, the next person I'm going to invite up, I already mentioned him earlier. Now we all know he's a big fan of Vanilla Ice. He's going to kill me for that one. He's also the president and CEO of Global View Communications. If you don't know about this organization, it is the link between corporate America, a lot of us ethnic media outlets. I know he's a great asset to El Mundo newspaper and to all of the other Hispanic and ethnic publications and magazines out there. He is probably one of the hardest working men I know. He commutes from Providence. I've known him for many, many years. He's a very, very good friend of mine and of El Mundo. Could you please welcome Mr. Greg Almeida of Global View Communications, the principal owner. Greg. Thanks for wearing a tie, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, I'm the Vanilla Ice fan. So I was going to say something, about Alberto, but I remembered he runs a newspaper. And you never get in a fight with anybody that has nothing but ink. So, I was thinking if I said something, I might end up in the paper next week in a compromising photo that was photoshopped, by the way. I just want to say that because my wife is here. But first things first, just want to thank Darnell for giving me the privilege of serving on the board. It's an honor. I'd also just like to take a quick second and thank the people that are serving us tonight. If we can give them a round of applause. And before I introduce Katie Maury, who is from Ocean Spray Cranberries and who's the entertainment sponsor tonight, I just wanted to acknowledge Dan Rivers from Nexus Alliance. Dan just won the award from the Rosoff, the Ad Club Rosoff Award for Champion of Change. And I know Dan is over there somewhere. Dan, if you could just stand up and wave. It's a big deal, big deal. So big ups to Ocean Spray. When you leave tonight, you're going to get a gift bag, and then that will be a coupon for a free beverage that you could redeem at Target or Stop and Shop or Walmart. Want to roll that sponsorship thing again? It all works together, doesn't it? And then there's going to be a bag of trail mix in there. And get the blueberry juice. Get the Ocean Spray blueberry juice. It's really good. I have had the honor and privilege of working with Katie Maury and her team at Ocean Spray for about 5 years now. And I can tell you that when it comes to their commitment to diversity and inclusion, it is without question. So tonight, what I'm going to do is just introduce Katie, and then I'm going to get out the way, and she's going to introduce the band. But Katie's the Vice President of Human Resources and Organization Development for Ocean Spray Cranberries. How many people know that Ocean Spray is here in Massachusetts? Right in between Providence and Boston. Katie's the Vice President of HR and Organization Development. In this role, she's accountable for the development and implementation of organization-wide policies and programs that encompass all aspects of human resources management. Katie joined Ocean Spray in 1993 and has held various positions in HR. I'm just going to highlight a couple of things that she's accomplished during her tenure. The first is that she created, piloted, and launched the first Ocean Spray mentoring program. She implemented the formal succession planning and talent management process across the cooperative. She was the project leader on a restructuring project that contributed over $13.5 million in administrative savings to the bottom line. Hope all you CEOs out there. Should I say that again? Save $13.5 million for a company. And she led the creation and implementation of Ocean Spray's diversity strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, from Ocean Spray Cranberries, Katie Maury.
Well, thank you, Greg, and good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to introduce tonight's entertainment, sponsored by Ocean Spray. No strangers to the Urban League Gala, Frank Wilkins and We Jazz Up are a highly regarded and talented trio who have delighted audiences since the 1970s with their eclectic songs and music. But the entertainment does not end there. We are also very excited to have the gifted and talented saxophonist Walter Beasley, and he'll be playing for us later this evening. So, with that, I'm not going to stand in the way of a good dance and a good time. So please give a warm round of applause for Frank Wilkins and We Jazz Up. Thank you.
So they're getting ready, we're getting ready. We're almost at the end of the night. My job is almost done here tonight. I want to remind everybody that the auction is now closed. And also, a couple things. Please pick up your auction items in the lobby. I want to remind you to stop by the membership table as well. Volunteers will be there helping you if you want to sign up and so forth as we get ready for the entertainment. I'm going to go home. You guys can keep dancing. And yes, before anybody says it, I'm going to do it because I know you guys are all thinking, at least the ones by my table. Yes, I love the 80s so much that, yes, my date was born in the 80s. See you later.